Hey everyone, this is Frugal Panda here with a review of my drive through going towards Eastern Washington. So I took a different way. Usually I'd come down through Portland and cut across Eastern Portland. Well, I wasn't in Portland. I'm not going to drive 200 miles or whatever it is to go all the way down to Portland when I'm in Seattle. Was my final destination on this trip. So what I did was just cut across from Seattle, which took me through the Mount Rainier area. It took me through some Native American lands, really nice looking reservations in that area. There was a huge casino, super green, of course. It's Washington State. Of course, I know Eastern Washington is not as green as actually the western side of Washington State, but it was pretty nice. It wasn't too bad, to be honest with you. So anyway, this trip took me through Mount Rainier and another national park. I'll put it in the description. I don't want to massacre the name of it, but they're like right next to each other. I stopped, checked out Ghost Lake while I was in the Mount Rainier area. It's just a beautiful area. I'm be honest with you. Just the drive alone, I was like, wow. I wish I had spent more time in this national park. I have an America the Beautiful past too, also. Huge trees. You could like pull your car in and like weave your car through these trees. That's how big they are and how they're spread apart. So that area was great. Cool drive. I recommend doing this drive. I recommend going and checking out Mount Rainier National Park and the national park that's right next to it. Wenatchee. I don't want to, like I said, I'm probably not saying it right, but I'll leave it in the description too. They're right next to each other. Beautiful areas, so many lakes, so green. I ended up driving through Eastern Washington, which ultimately it takes me down to cut through Eastern Oregon. Now, the way I took, oh my God, I thought I was going to run out of gas. So I took a Nissan Kicks, which gets about 40 miles to the gallon on the highway. The only problem with it is they have a small gas tank. So on the highway, you get about 400 miles on. No big deal, right? Yeah, it's not a big deal. Well, something told me to stop, and when your intuition's saying, hey, you need to stop and get gas now, go ahead and just stop and get gas. I didn't do that. So I kept driving and driving, and it takes me down like the state road that's like a 2-lane highway, little one that goes up, and it's getting dark. So I'm like, oh my God, where are all the gas places? I'm down to 60 miles, and I'm thinking in my head, I should have stopped at that Maverick. But trying to be cheap, because gas is expensive in Washington State, nowhere near like California or anything like that. But compared to out here in Colorado, where with the gas being high in October 2022, you still can get like mid-grade gas for like $3.20, $3.18, depending on where you look, like Sam's Club, Costco, etc., like that. So paying $5 something a gallon is like outrageous, and I'm sorry, they really rip people off on the West Coast on gas. A lot of it they're getting ripped off on. So that's neither here nor there. But anyway, so I was trying to be cheap, and that was the worst thing you can do is just get gas. Or at the very least, what I started learning was if you seem kind of low, stop somewhere anyway, get gas. Don't necessarily fill up if you think the gas prices are too high, but make sure you got enough to make it to civilization. Because going through Eastern Washington, there are gaps between major towns here and there. So that's just something to keep in keep in the back of your mind when you're traveling. Not those huge gaps, but, trying to be super picky like I was almost got me to where I was running out of gas for absolutely no reason at all when I could have stopped. Anyway, the drive-through was not bad. It started getting dark. I made it through Mount Rainier and all that and started making it out into the open plains area of Eastern Washington, made it through Eastern Oregon, drove all the way to, I think I made it all the way to Utah that night, I want to say. And then I went to sleep for about 4 hours and then got right back up and took off the rest of the way. Now, I built a little bed platform to put in the back. It was nothing fancy. It's a Nissan Kicks. I will tell you, if you're 6 foot tall, you will not fit totally back there. You'll kind of have to sleep kind of at a slant, sort of at a slant. But if you're like, let's say you're 5'8", 5'9", you should be good to go. And all I didn't make a video of it. All it was basically a piece of board, to be honest with you. And I put one of my storage containers under it to even it out, so to make it flat, because the seat does not lay flat. I hate when they don't lay flat. But as far as the Nissan Kicks goes, it's a 2023. This is our new commuter car that I share with my spouse. We both have SUVs, but neither of them can compare to 40 miles to the gallon. And it has a lot of room for the size of the vehicle, and it has good height on it for the size of it. It's a little CUV, fake CUV that's front wheel drive, worked great. It was excellent on the drive. I have no complaints about it. I read some of the reviews on it and they said, oh, it doesn't have enough power. That's a total lie. This is not a Tesla. This is not one of my old Dodge SRTs or one of my old Benzes or something like that. It is none of those. I had no problems getting up mountains. I had no problems driving anywhere. It had enough pep in the city. It was fine. And the 40 miles to the gallon it was getting, and then I got about 36, 37 in the city. There's no complaints from me for this little car. It was excellent. It had plenty of room. It took my electric X Premium, took me all these great places, as you can see, driving all through Mount Rainier area and all these good, cool areas that's up and down, in elevation. My spouse also took it in Colorado, where we have much higher elevation in Washington State and Oregon. And when we got back, she took it and went to the mountains to some hot springs. And she said it did great. She had no problems. Because I've had cars that were wimpy going up mountains. I could tell you one right now. I used to have a 2003 Subaru Outback. And it was about 175 horsepower. This is 125 horsepower with a CVT. No problems with this car. It did excellent, so it was great. I highly recommend the Nissan Kicks. You get one new, great. It was a great deal. It was low 20s for this car after taxes. It was an excellent car. I was very satisfied in what we got. Anyway, I recommend doing this drive. If you want to, come through Eastern Washington, depending on where you're coming from, come through Eastern Washington and cut across Spokane and all that. Go check out Spokane and come through Mount Rainier and all that and go down to Seattle and all those areas. Either there, this is one of my favorite drives is this one, as well as the one where I cut through Eastern Oregon. And I think the Eastern Oregon, what makes it such a big deal is, I'm not going to say Eastern Oregon is a nice area because it's not. It's got some little cool hiking trails here and there, the Badlands and all that. It's dry, it's a deserty area, but I don't know, something about it when I hit Bend. Once I get to Bend, I'm like, oh yeah, it's about to be, a really enjoyable trip, because I'm like, you're starting to hit the major cities, and Bend is a super cute city, everyone. Go check out Bend, Oregon. And anybody from Bend out there, you can correct me if I'm wrong. You guys get snow, I think, but I also think you get a little more days of sun too. But let me say, this whole trip to Oregon and Washington State, it was sunny the whole way. I didn't get rain going all the way from Colorado to there, and I didn't get rain coming all the way back from there to Colorado. The whole trip was super sunny. But anyway, I recommend the Eastern Oregon, driving through there if you're going to Oregon and wherever there. And I also recommend going through the Washington State area and cutting across, whatever floats your boat. But either one of them was really cool. That Mount Rainier and the other national park right next to it are beautiful, everyone. And this is coming from someone that lives in Colorado, where we're no joke. There's a reason people move here, but beautiful area. I'm ready to go back there and do some camping and some hiking and check it out a little bit further. Anyway, this is Frugal Panda. The whole goal of these videos is hopefully to give some people some ideas. You're getting ready to go on a road trip. You're thinking about doing something. Hey, go check it out. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. Have a good day. Frugal Panda is out.